Hello, I am Hubert Hazebroucq. I'm a dancer and choreographer specialized in early dancing, which means the repertoire which has been reconstructed thanks to written documents and which are between about 1450, 1450 and the beginning of the 19th century. I will speak about a program which is only on Renaissance dance, which is focused on two periods, which are the end of the 15th century and the late 16th century, beginning of the 17th century. I'm working on this type of repertoire since for a long time, and I've been working with Ensemble Doulce Mémoire, which is also an musical ensemble specialized in Renaissance dance for many years. It's a very well-known ensemble for this repertoire. They have made a lot of recordings, many discs, many concerts in the world, everywhere. And I'm working with them since 2015. So it's a long collaboration. We have made already many projects together. The director of this ensemble is Denis Rezindadre. And so we are sharing a lot of ideas in common about Renaissance dance and Renaissance music. In fact, Ensemble Doulce Mémoire is working on many types of repertoire, church, polyphonies, and but they always had a special taste for dance and theatricality. The first disc they have recorded was in fact devoted to dance music, and they also love to make music for dance and for theater. So that's very thrilling for me too, because it's really an easy collaboration, because we understand ourselves very quick. And we are also always very curious to discover what the others can bring as an inspiration. So I was formerly a contemporary dancer, and I had the opportunity, really by chance, to be in a production of with Baroque dancing, and so I discovered completely this style. But for me, it was very easy because I always loved early music, and especially Baroque and Renaissance music. I know it's strange, but I I always loved that. And I also studied literature in the university, and I made my master work on Renaissance poets of the end of the 16th century at the court of Henry III, Philippe Desportes, completely unknown, but it was very interesting. And so, and then I had the opportunity to discover not only Baroque dancing, but also Renaissance dance. I met the very important master Barbara Sparti, who was a leader, researcher on the Italian Renaissance repertoire. And so I also had I took classes with her, and we shared a lot of thoughts. And really, I fell in love with these dances. And but also it was an important experience for me to read the dances, to make the work of reading, interpreting the documents, trying to understand, of course, the context, the cultural, the artistic, the aesthetic context, but also to really to go deep in the text and to have this connection with something which is lost, but we have to make sense with that. And I've been also very, for me, it's also very important that this repertoire are alive, are not only archaeology, which is, it's important to read the text and to be precise and to understand, but we have to understand why they are dancing and why dance was so important at the time and what was the fun of that, but also how impressive it could be, because we always have this idea of very ceremonial and very slow, I don't know, dances, which is a bit the same which are shown in the films. But in fact, what we read is speaking about joy, virtuosity, youth, uh, and something which is also very much lively. And we also have to reconstruct this spirit of dance and not only an image. And so it's a challenge. And that's also the challenge of reading the text and making that a spectacle for today, as it was a spectacle at the time, more or less. So the sources for Renaissance dance are very diverse, and because it depends on the periods. We have a corpus of texts in the second half of the 15th century, mostly in Italy, a bit in France. And in Italy, they are really trying uh, to prove that dance is an art, as well as the music, and an art which is strongly related to the music, which is related with some ideas of proportion, some ideas of uh, proportions, some mathematical things, and in fact they are providing us rules for the steps, rules for the behavior, also rules for improvising, rules for the how to perform the choreographies, and they are giving us a lot of choreographies, some with music, some without music, which is another problem, but we know which type of music can be used with them. And so we really have choreographies for uh, some for couples, for trios, even for six people with figures, with many kinds of steps, uh, different sorts of music. So it's quite precise, even if we continue to discuss about many details about how to perform the steps. And we also have manuscripts which are giving us variants and other variations, and so we can ornamentations, so we can really have a quite good idea about this style. This style is for social dances, so the problem is to how to imagine spectacle dances, and we know that there were uh, intermeds in Italy, but also in Burgundy, which was the duchy's most wealthy duchy in France, and also in the Kingdom of France. And we know there were big festivities with spectacles, and including dance, which was spectacular. So we have to deduce from what we understand about relation between music and steps and how the space is shaped and so. But of course, it's an extrapolation for what is spectacle dances. For the end of the 16th century, beginning of the 17th century, we have a lot of treatises which are once more devoted to social dances, but with a few choreographies which were really intended to be performed for an audience. And they are giving a lot of indication about the steps, about the relation between steps and music. And we have many, many choreographies. We also have many treatises about variations because they are developing at the time the idea of creating in uh, on a certain type of music, creating variations, which means we have 6 beats, and on 6 beats, we explore every type of jumps we can do from the smallest to the most virtuosic. And they're also really training uh, hard to to dance sometimes these complicated and sometimes long variations. So it's a very rich source which can give us a lot of hints to understand what was dance at the time. But once more, we don't have what was really the most spectacular things. But as we have a lot of technical ideas and also virtuosic steps, it's much easier to create something by combining them according to the rules which we can deduce from the treatises and the choreographies which we already have. So we have a lot of things, in fact. In it's the same spirit of making something impressive, but also it's an aesthetic of variety, an aesthetic of surprise, of yes, and combining things, repeating things, but always in a new way, which is really the spirit of this art. Yes. It's very complicated it really depends on the context. It can be very developed with um, many types of characters coming with various costumes, and there is a specific genre in France which is the masquerade in fact, which is many characters, sometimes allegorical, sometimes just exotic, for example, or once more with a lot of variety. And I think it's a mix of dances which are more expressing a character and dances which are more working on space patterns, on figures, and especially in the I think from the 70s, 1570s, in France especially, they are developing the geometrical dances, which are really based on showing a lot of complicated figures with a lot of people, which means 16 dancers or more, or 20 dancers, making a lot of signs they can also dance in forms of letters and so on. So they are mixing a lot of tools, choreographic tools already, because they are exploring this art, in fact. It depends, but it depends on the context. Once more, we have a great example in Italy for La Pellegrina, which is which was for the festivities or for the marriage of the Grand Duke of Tuscany, and it's a theatrical play. But in between the acts, there are danced and sung intermeds, which are not related to the plot, which is for us very odd, but and which allow to develop something very magnificent. So the splendor. So and the end of the sixth intermed is very well known because there was a specific tune which was Aria del Granduca, which comes from this intermed and which became very popular. And I will dance on that tune because we have a choreography which was created by a very well-known dancing master, Fabrizio Caroso, on l'Aria del Granduca. So that's my challenge, creating something uh, which can share not only the art of movement, but also share something of the sensibility of con of the aesthetic context, but also uh, the way people saw the life, the world. I don't know the really the context, and that's why I'm staging the dances. I as I'm alone, it's very difficult to make social dances as a solo performer. So what I propose is to make a travel between different atmospheres, which can evoke different um, various aspects of the uh, imaginary of the time, which means I'm for the 15th century part of the spectacle. For example, I'm focused on, of course, noble behavior because it's the beginning of working on the aristocratic body as a cultivated body. And so I think it's important to see that it's something very refined, but also very measured, so it's something very specific. And then I evoke something completely different, which is their taste for tournaments, but also the war which is behind, and especially uh, at the time there is this very hard conflict between the Duke of Burgundy and the King of France. And so I evoke this war with the people with the French flags and the Burgundian flag, and dancing different dances. And then I evoke also the death of the Duke of Burgundy because the King of France won. And so, and it's an opportunity for me to evoke the mourners, which are something which is very which we can see on many tombs at the time, and which allow a very rich exploration of the postures of the movement. So it's no more dance, but I'm evoking also the images of the time, what the art really of the time. And so, and for the 16th century part, I will we show various atmospheres, but I will also present like a small masquerade with different allegorical figures, as they love to presented. So I have to change the costumes, the mask, and everything. But I will try to show various characters and to show how these various characters can propose different styles of dances. Because my question is my challenge is also to show that the music are not the same, the dances are not the same, that there is a variety, even if we are in a vocabulary, like in music, we have a vocabulary, but we can explore very, very different colors, very different ideas. And in fact, with the musicians, it will also be the case because they are playing high instruments, but also low instruments. They will play shawls, they will play recorders, they will play bassoons, they will play, so they will Dulcian, in fact, for bassoons. But in fact, they will also explore different musical colors, and we will have also a percussionist. And so it allows a lot of different sounds and character. Yes. The idea is to give I want the audience enjoying that this period is also very rich, and that we can have many yes aspects. I will make the musician a bit dance. Some of them will dance a bit with me. So, and they all know a lot about this repertoire. I have made a choice also to work on pieces which are not completely created for dance, because I wanted to explore, because it's composed like the dance at the time. So I wanted to explore it. So I'm dancing on a song by Guillaume Dufay, for example, which was not intended for that. But we can, I can recognize the patterns, so to say, the proportions, and so I'm exploring also composition with it. And Denis Raison is always proposing me challenging music, because these musics are very very exciting, and because they are very irregular. Some of them, and especially in the second half of the 16th century, seems to be very so 4 bars, 6 bars or thing, but in fact they are always bringing surprise. And I also love that the way the ensemble is ornamenting and making variations, and because it's always very inspiring for me. So we are, each performance is really something new for everybody. Even if we perfectly know what we have to do, we are really sharing the same energy. Because, as I said at the beginning, they love theatricality, and I hope you understand, I love theatricality too. I'm very concerned by the way that if I'm dancing for an audience, they have to enjoy something of that. I'm not dancing for me, I'm dancing for creating a meaning, and the musicians are in the same movement, in the same energy as me. So we are sharing this yes, this happiness to share. But in fact, in the Renaissance, there is, it's very complicated. It's very literal. There is strong literality between movement and music. But on another hand, you can explore completely in the frame. So, like in music, I think you have a frame, you have a period. So you have, and you can in this period, you can make any proportion you want, but at the end you have to be again beginning a new period and so on. And so it's something which is very um, which is not so stuck. It's really moving, and so it's this literality is just a tool, in fact, for us. Okay, I'm looking forward to. I'm happy to come and dance in Canada, and so are all my colleagues on stage. So thank you very much.